Hello and welcome to Sharing the Light, and I'm Reverend Griffin. Sharing the Light is an online ministry of the Sunshine Cathedral, a metropolitan community church located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In this segment today, Reverend Durrell Watkins, who is the senior pastor of the Sunshine Cathedral, will be speaking to why don't the miracles of the Bible happen today? So once again, let us dive into our discussion by asking Pastor Durrell, what is your response to why don't the miracles of the Bible happen today?
Well, I know where this question comes from. I have a question and answer column and the Sunburst, which is our church newsletter, and so this is actually someone's question. So someone has asked this question, and so there is an assumption. There are two assumptions being made, aren't there? The first is that the miracles in the Bible did happen,
Right.
and that miracles today don't happen.
Right.
So those are the two assumptions that the questioner has. And so we have to, I guess we have to sort of deal with that. First of all, I wouldn't discount the experience of miracles today. We need to remember that experience and explanation are not the same thing. If I experience something really, really wonderful, and I try to explain my experience to you, all you have is my explanation.
Right.
You don't have my experience.
Right.
And so the experience may be so profound, I may exaggerate it in every way possible. I may use hyperbole and examples and imagery and everything I can to communicate to you something that really can't be communicated. But once I've done that, all you have is my explanation. And so you may literalize it, you may share it, you may discount it, you may think it's crazy, whatever. But all you have is my explanation. And explanation is not experience. I think we all have had profound experiences. My understanding of a miracle is that a miracle is a change of perception. When you are able to see or experience or embrace something that you couldn't before, well, that changes your life. Your world is literally changed once you learn something new, or once you consider something new, or once you experience something that you didn't think was possible and then it was. One of my favorite miracle stories from the Bible is Hagar in the wilderness. And she's alone, and she doesn't have any food, she doesn't have any money. She does have a baby, Ishmael, and she's afraid that they're going to die in the desert. And so she sort of just puts him under a little bush or something, for shade, and she sits back and cries because she feels helpless. And at some point, she looks up. When she's focused on the problem, when she's focused on the misery, when her head is down, it's just all terrible. It's over. But when she raises her head and she broadens her perspective, what does she see? She sees a well. And that well in the wilderness is a miracle. Now, it's sort of told as if the well wasn't there, and then suddenly in her moment of need, it magically appeared. Well, that was her experience. Her experience was, I didn't see the well, I thought I was going to die. When I broadened my perspective, I saw the well, and now I have a new lease on life. There is a new chance for me. And so when we broaden our perspective, the world changes. When we're just in the wilderness, we're just in the wilderness. But when we can look up and broaden our perspective, sometimes we see wells in the wilderness, and that's a miracle. And so I don't want to discount the possibility of miracles. I think we've experienced them.
Right.
Once we experience them, we try to explain them, and then people confuse the explanation for the experience. So there's that. So secondly, having said, I do believe in miracles. I do think they happen, because I think there are times when we broaden our perspective and we have this huge breakthrough. Think of diseases that we didn't even know what to call them, and then we could diagnose them, and then we could treat them, and then the treatments became more and more effective. Sometimes cures, sometimes remission, sometimes just being able to live longer and feel better. And so we've had healing miracles in the medical world. We've explored outer space, for heaven's sakes. We're talking to people all over the world right now.
Right.
People can see us in places we've never even been to, and that's sort of a miracle. Jesus would have never imagined that.
Right.
Paul would have never imagined that. And so perspectives are always being broadened, and the world is always changing because of it. So there's that. The other thing, though, about the miracles of the Bible is that they are explanations.
Right.
They're not experiences.
Right.
And they're not meant to be history the way we understand history. We understand history as either one of the humanities or a social science. In antiquity, history was sort of a literary genre. History wasn't about facts that happened. History was about making the case that a person that you're talking about was important in history, that this person changed the course of history. And so a history of a person is talking about that person's significance, that person's relevance, that person's importance. And so miracle stories about Buddha, miracle stories about Jesus, miracle stories about Moses, all these miracle stories, they, in antiquity, aren't as much about the thing that happened as they are about the person that the stories are talking about. And so a history that includes miracles in antiquity is the history of a person. Now, these people, Moses, Paul, Peter, these wonderful, amazing people, they did help people broaden their perspective. They did give people hope. They did help people experience miracles. They broadened their perspectives. Their lives changed. But the miracle stories themselves are often part of a literary genre meant not to say a person does or doesn't walk on water or doesn't walk through walls. The miracle stories are meant to say this person mattered. This person is huge.
Right.
It's important to us to know something about this person, to consider this person, to think about this person, to reflect on this person. So the miracle stories of the Bible are often about important people. And once we think about those people and follow in those people's footsteps, we discover what is important and wonderful and sacred about ourselves. And so that's the importance of those miracle stories. That having been said, there's always reason to hope in our own lives, and we've had experiences where hope made a difference, where we broadened our perspective and had an amazing breakthrough. So I don't discount miracles, even though the miracles that I have may not look like the explanations of miracles in a story. One, explanation is not experience. And two, in the genre of history, rather than the science of history, includes hyperbole and myth and exaggeration, because it's not about the thing, it's about the person.
So in your experience, based as, you pastored for a number of years now, pastored at Sunshine Cathedral, and based on this discussion today, how would you say miracles are relevant for the LGBT community or for the communities at large?
Oh, that's an amazing question. Because I think every time that a gay or lesbian or transgendered or bisexual person or person living with AIDS or a person who is confused about his or her gender or trying to figure it out or has questions about their sexuality, I think every time that such a person broadens their perspective and sees that well in the wilderness, every time they sort of wake up to their divine potential, every time they wake up and realize I'm a person of sacred value, and the way that I love is the way I'm meant to love, and the way that I live my life is a wonderful way. I'm part of the glorious diversity of creation. I think that is a miracle. So these miracle stories aren't about whether or not this well plopped down in the desert for Hagar. This miracle story is about Hagar broadening her perspective and experiencing life in a new and better way. That's very relevant for the gay and lesbian community. We can broaden our perspective, learn about our sacred value, reclaim our dignity, and experience for ourselves those wells in our wilderness.
Wonderful, thank you. I want to thank you for joining us today here on Sharing the Light. And if you have any questions or you'd like to visit our website, please do so at www.sunshinecathedral.org. Or if you have questions or comments, please write to me at robert@sunshinecathedral.org. And now for our final word from Pastor Durrell.
I simply want to invite people to join us in any way they can here at the Sunshine Cathedral. That may be by the website, that may be with our publications. Sharing the Light is a journal that comes out 4 times a year. Spirit and Truth is our monthly magazine, devotional magazine, available on our website in PDF form also. Or you can worship with us at 9 o'clock and 10:30 on Sunday mornings at 1480 Southwest 9th Avenue here in Fort Lauderdale. We wish you blessings on your journey.
Thank you for joining us on Sharing the Light.